What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Detroit Love, with another video.
You horny, baby.
Today we're going to take a look at the AtGames Legends Pinball. Oh, this is a nice machine. Let's check it out. So now that I have had my AtGames Legends Pinball for a little bit, just want to re-look at it and just talk about it. So the cabinet is 64 inches by 42 inches by 19 inches wide. So 64 inches tall, 42 inches from the front to the back, and then 19 inches wide. The game features 22 licensed Gotlieb pinball tables. It has a big, huge 32-inch playfield. Now granted, if you build your own, people typically are going to go with a 40-inch and a 32-inch back glass. This one's featuring a 15.6-inch back glass. But this is a perfect size for most people's homes. If you Google virtual pinball, you will see how massive. Because the people that build those virtual cabinets are trying to build it to look exactly the way traditional pinball looks, and it's ginormous. So this is a perfect size with the 32-inch playfield gives you a great view of the playfield. And the back glass, the size itself is not bad. It could have been bigger. It's just that the traditional games, a lot of them being solid state, they have to squish the, say a 4-player score system onto that screen. And so the score can tend to be a little small. The DMD games, the more modern games that use the DMD, the dot matrix display, those aren't too bad at all. But it's just the solid state or the I can never remember that the electromagnetic or electromechanical pinball, the ones that have all the real sounds of bells and mechanical sounds versus digital sounds. So those tables, the scoring tends to be a little small. That's the point I'm making. Now, the cool thing about this is that it's simply taking games that were made for other platforms such as Steam on a PC or on a Nintendo Switch or on a tablet, Android or Apple iOS, applications that were made to be played on a smartphone or on a console, and putting those games into a more traditional package so that you're standing at a cabinet, looking down at a screen, and using flipper buttons. So I think it's pretty cool to bring this at such an affordable price. Now, obviously, what's affordable to one could be not affordable to another. But compared to the prices of what it would cost to build your own, this is extremely affordable by a quarter of the cost at the maximum. So the games are pretty good looking. This 32-inch screen with this 1080p resolution displays very well. The performance of the cabinet that works well. They have enough buttons to be able to perform the actions that's needed. They have in the built-in accelerometer, with the haptic feedback. And that is really good. They also include nudge buttons, so if you don't want to actually, nudge the actual cabinet, you can just use the buttons. So that is all pretty cool. Now, granted, trying to emulate a mechanical system on a digital format is, difficult as you might imagine. You take a video game, say Gotlieb, which started off as digital, and then you can put it in any cabinet, and it's still going to be digital, right? And so it's not very difficult to create these arcade cabinets with these digital games, because you're just simply changing the venue, the cabinet, right? Pinball is a totally different beast in that it originated as a physical game, with a physical ball hitting against physical objects under, this sheet of glass. And so to emulate that is just difficult. And you can see how tiny those scores are. So obviously, the bigger the board you would have, you could see more of that. But you're taking something that wasn't digital and creating digital and trying to make the experience as close as possible. So that's a very difficult thing. So I think they have done a good enough job to make this enjoyable. Is it going to get better over time? Absolutely. Again, the main thing is that these games were made for different platforms, not a traditional cabinet. And so as they start to improve these games, then you're going to see a much better performance out of these cabinets. The nice thing about the AtGames Legends Pinball cabinet is that they have added a lot of functionality beyond the traditional pinball experience. And that's with the Legends family of the Legends arcade platform. That's the arcade net. So they'll allow you to play games online, and I'll get to that a little later. Bring your own games. You'll see that a little later. Leaderboards, being able to save your score and have you compete against people all over the globe versus just the people that walked into your local arcade or in your own home, right? So that's pretty cool in itself. But the nice thing about this, beyond the traditional pinball experience, they've added a whole lot of modern tools such as the USB. That's where you're allowed to plug in and bring your own games. They have the Wi-Fi that allows you to update the cabinet and download games, new games, and buy games from the store or play against people on the internet with the arcade net. And not just Wi-Fi, but they have Ethernet built in. So if you want a better, stronger direct connection to the web, you can hardwire. And you have Bluetooth support, so you can listen to and play your game and without disturbing everybody else, and play and listen through your Bluetooth. So these are pretty cool features that never existed in traditional pinball that do exist in this cabinet. And so on top of all of those great things, you can utilize the USB ports and the HDMI port, which it has, to be able to plug a computer into it, and you can experience games such as FX3 or VPX tables. So if you're not completely satisfied with the experience of these tables, you can add your own. And so that's where this cabinet outshines against the competitors. You have the option to do that, and you have the option to just play it the way it came out the box if you like. You can choose not to hook up to the internet and never update and just play the 22 games that came with it. Don't worry about any updates or bugs they find. You can just, whatever it is, whatever you received, you can play. But if you want to go beyond that, you have that capability. And so you got the 22 tables, but you can also add tables like the Zachariah tables. But you have this arcade net, which is pretty darn cool. So with this monthly subscription, you can play games that are not loaded on the machine, but you can play them by streaming them. And so this game here, these arcade net games, are playable with the built-in controls. So here I'm using the bomb. I had to figure out that this was the secondary weaponry for this game, and so you'll see me finally figure out that I should be using the primary firebug. I was like, why are these missiles so slow? There's a whole lot of action, a lot of activity going on in this game for me to be able to have such a slow shooting weapon. And then I finally figured it out. But anyway, the point is, you have these games that, if you wish, you can subscribe $20 a month if you pay by the month, or $10 a month if you pay 6 months at a time. So pretty cool option to expand the playability of your cabinet. There you go. See, I'm shooting with the regular, but and then I'll start utilizing the secondary as well. So these arcade net games are playable with the controls, be it a little non-conventional, and so this cabinet is expandable. So AtGames is going to be releasing soon a control panel, gaming control panel, that you can replace that Legends Pinball area near the lock bar, and you can actually have real game controls, real video game controls, that you can swap out that board and put that controls in. So that's pretty cool. And so where that comes in handy and more useful is when you bring your own game. So these arcade net games are controllable without that control panel. When you start looking at the bringing your own games, so I have, for example, I have this. You see this little white USB stick up there in the top left corner that has games on it. Probably, I don't know, 300 games. See that little white USB stick? And you can put whatever size you want. But when you bring your own games, then those are going to have different controls, or require different controls, because those games have things that this cabinet, well, just simply wouldn't know anything about. And so that's where that additional control panel comes in handy if you wish to do that. So again, you don't have to do that, but you can do that. And so all these options for playing games on your cabinet is phenomenal. In addition to that, you have the ability to pause games. One of the most frustrating things is to be having such a great game and have to go to the restroom or something, or get called for dinner, or you got to run out for an errand and you can't, you have to end your game and just jack it up. So the ability to pause a game, they even have ability to rewind. So you're playing and come along and you get hit by a sucker move, and rewind and make another choice, right? You can save games, you can load, and so this is not just your standard run-of-the-mill pinball table. It has a lot of functionality that's built in to be expanded, to expand upon the basics of the cabinet, and that is pretty darn cool. So that's what you have to think about when you are looking at a pinball table, and your selection of a pinball table is, do you want to just turn it on and play it and don't worry about anything else? Well, cool. You can do that with this. You can do that with the other competitors. This one just happens to have a 32-inch screen versus a 24-inch screen. So, very vibrant, very nice looking screen. But if you're looking to go beyond the basics and want to be able to play additional games, bring your own games, buy new tables, this is a pretty cool option. And like I said, for the price, it's just a no-brainer. These are going to be available now. They're only available through reservations on the AtGames website, but they're going to soon be available at Sam's Club. Now they're getting a small shipment in at the end of March that will, because Sam's Club want to try it out and see how the response is to them, and so they're going to get a trial sampling that are going to move fast. So if you're interested, even if you have a reservation, you may want to just keep an eye on the Sam's Club website and your local store to see if you can snag one. Because even if you have the reservation and change your mind, you're just out of $20. And these are definitely going to most likely be cheaper because Sam's is typically not going to charge you for shipping. So that is an option that you can possibly try to take advantage of. This cabinet fits in very well in the 3/4 scale home arcade market. I have some buddies that have their full-size cabinets and they love those big, heavy, ginormous beast of equipment. I personally have no interest in those, and I am extremely happy with the 3/4 scale size cabinets. I don't need anything larger. This weekend we're going to have our family arcade night, and so that should be a lot of fun tomorrow on Saturday night. And it's funny because it wasn't last year, 2 years. If you look at the intro of my videos, you can see I had 3 cabinets. I had the Street Fighter 2, Galaga, and Golden Tee. I think that was November of 2019. So from 2019, November, let's just say the beginning of 2020. Because I got this toy shop in November. So right after that party, but in December. I ordered it, but I got it in December. So from December of 2019 to February of 2021, I went from 3 cabinets to, I believe there's 8 here I have now, and I have 2 on backlog. So I have 10 cabinets, and I have tons of space, but as far as keeping everything in this area, that's going to be difficult to do. So I'll just have to rearrange this later. But the point I'm making is this AtGames Legends Pinball fits into this 3/4 scale home arcade scenario very well, and it's just a nice looking machine. The artwork is a mixture of the assets from the 22 games that come built in, and they did a great job with it, because I was not a fan of the haunted house design that was chosen by Toy Shop. But again, once these things are pushed in their normal spot, you don't see a whole lot of it, but you definitely see more than you would see on a video game cabinet. But I am enjoying this. I have lots of plans for this. I plan to expand out, but I'm not going to gut it and totally redo it like I did the Toy Shop, because they, being AtGames, know that we want to do such a thing, and so they made it where it's much easier to keep it stock and be able to enjoy the benefits of the other options. The only thing is, the placement of the HDMI and USB cables are on the top where that USB drive was. Not the most ideal spot for it. It would be better if it was, say, on the side of the cabinet versus the top of the cabinet, just aesthetically, or even the back of the cabinet would have been nice. But again, they're learning, and the future versions, and quite even possible when Sam's Club comes out with their version, it may be slightly different. But I can guarantee you that this pinball market is going to be evolutionary, if not revolutionary, in the coming years. The cost is going to stay affordable, but you're going to get a lot more built-in functionality. There are going to be options to have premium versions where you pay more and you get a lot more features, because there's a huge area of opportunity from where these tables are today to those homemade built full-size cabinets that the virtual pinball people are enjoying. There's a vast area where resources can be utilized in so many different ways. And so I am excited for this digital pinball market, for the home market. I think that it is going to continue to get better. And I think you guys are going to be delighted for whatever cabinet you choose. But I like this cabinet. You know, all those things I said earlier is great. The fact that it has a glass top instead of plexi over the playfield is just something that, you know, you shouldn't overlook. And it's not just a pane of glass like in your window. Is pressure treated, so you drop something on there, there's a good chance it's not going to break unless, you know, obviously it's something crazy. But it's very thought out. They've dropped the screen so it feels and looks like it's a pinball machine with the playfield under that glass and not just touching up against the glass, like you see on my modified toy shock to the left there. You can see on the right that screen is dropped. It is pretty fun to be able to get on the leaderboards. I'm never going to have the top spot. That's never my goal. I'm not going to play these games for an extremely long time. I'm going to play it and enjoy it and keep it moving. But it is cool to see that they make this so that you're not only competing against people in your household or friends and family, you can be competing against complete strangers across the globe. So that is pretty cool. Now, it doesn't save these scores immediately when you finish. Sometimes you have to actually back up out of the game, and then they'll save it and submit it up to the cloud. Be nice if it can be done instantly while you're in the game, but it doesn't. And so I was looking for my score here. I'm like, where is my score? I just did very well, but I'll get to it because you have to actually exit out. So let's talk about availability. Again, these are only available through reservations, which they're currently still on wave 1. And while people are frustrated, they have to keep a few things in consideration. The people that are now getting competing for the competitors' products, they've ordered those things way back in October or November, and they're just now getting those. You have to be aware, unless you're living under a rock, that everyone that's buying things from China is experiencing the same backlog and limited supply availability. Because if you just Google or YouTube the harbors in California, the Los Angeles harbor or the one that's next to it, whatever it's called, you'll see there's tons of ships just sitting on the water, waiting to get get their containers removed. So we all have to be patient, and we all have to just use logic and common sense, man. We're not waiting on medical supplies to keep us alive. We're waiting on games. I'm waiting on my arcade 1-up pinball table, and it doesn't even have a date. They haven't even given a date on the pre-order. So I have no idea when I'm going to get that. And so, but am I stressing and knocking on their door, crying and weeping? No. When they update me, they'll update me. I have a Legacy Atari cabinet, which I think that's in May. that may be delayed because a lot of things are delayed. So I told you back in December that there are going to be delays. And you didn't want to listen, or you just didn't hear, or you only heard what you wanted to hear. That's just the reality of the current market and state of commerce. So just be patient and keep it friendly. Have fun. This is games. These are games we're talking about. It should be fun. Whether you're waiting on them, whether you're reviewing them, whether you're playing them, whatever the case is. If it's something that's upsetting you, then you should probably move on and do something else with yourself. But I think this product is pretty darn cool. I think all of these products are pretty cool, but you know, they've done a pretty decent job with this. Is it perfect? Absolutely not, but it'll work. So guys, I appreciate you watching my video. Listen to me ramble on about these toys and entertainment devices. If you have one on order, I hope that you get it soon. It's a lot of fun. If you don't get it soon, have patience. It's coming. There's going to be a lot of people that see yours and hear about it later, and they're going to have a little longer wait. So at least you're in line. At least you have your spot. And guys, just enjoy. Enjoy life, man. Enjoy each other. Enjoy your families. Don't get stressed out about these things. I like to hear from you. Like to read your comments. What are you looking forward to? What are you anticipating to be the most exciting thing about this cabinet? Are you getting a competing cabinet? Which one? I got the Attack from Mars coming. Very interested to see how it looks. I know it's going to have a smaller screen and lower resolutions, you know, but you know, it's worth me taking a peek at. But guys, let me hear from you. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I appreciate it. If you haven't liked the video after all these minutes, please do so. I appreciate that. If you're not getting a pinball, why not? Since you're watching, I'm just curious. Do you have a real pinball machine? Do you have a virtual pinball machine that you built yourself or bought from someone else? What would you like to talk about? What would you like to see in the next video? Love to hear from you. I always try to respond or at least give a heart, because we all have to have a heart. Until next time, guys, I'll see you on the web.